гүрс етіп кәдімгі бір жарылды да.
Тоқтатпай секунд, минутты, қасымнан талай жыл өтті.
Шыққыр көзді аштым, жұмдым, шолдым биік төменді.
Қанатын кең жайып, төңкеріліп келеді.
О Тәңірім, оның түркі аты мәңгілік болсын.
Kazakh literature delivers Kazakh soul, and Kazakh soul is, even for me, being a native Kazakh, is a mystery.
There are examples of all genres in Kazakh literature, but it differs from other world literatures by using a more realistic style rather than fantasy or romanticism.
I think all poets write to stop time. A writer or a poet is not familiar with the concept of never. He or she can revive it, make us travel in time, back and forth.
To write a good poem, one has to have experienced spiritual growth, spiritual maturing.
I love traditional Kazakh poetry. I grew up reciting epic heroic poems. Today there are some great poets who are really good at reanimating those traditions.
Kazakh poetry is rich and full of images. There are so many unexpected images, so much that is alien to foreign readers. I'm convinced that the British in particular will fall in love with Kazakh poetry.
Kazakh people have strong poetic traditions. It's in our blood, and I don't think that's going to change.
The writer, first of all, should be the slave of his nation, and then should be the darling of his nation.
During the last 25 years, new voices have emerged in our literary landscape.
If we want to introduce our nation and our unique culture to others, then our literature must be translated.
Kazakh poetry is not one thing, and yet it is all recognisably Kazakh. It's like there's a framework around it that makes it recognisably Kazakh, but within that framework, people are free to move in whatever directions they want. There's a poem by Tirmihan Medetbek called Song of a Strongman, which I find intoxicating and very dynamic. Song of a Strongman. A long, long time ago, I was fighting with a rock. The mighty mountain was my foe. I hit it hard and caused a hail of stones. Bang, bang, I hit it harder.
This is a significant project because for the first time, these anthologies will be translated into 6 languages.
The crag crumbled like a house of sand. A rocky knot, strong as shackles, was broken by me. That's how I fought.
It's been translated into the 6 UN official languages: English, Arabic, French, Spanish, Russian, and Chinese.
Drew a sigh, lightning flashed. Shook off dust, earth crashed.
The program Ruhani Jagharu, the rebirth of the national spirit, is of great importance not only to Kazakh citizens but to all our partners in the world. And the publication of these anthologies is hugely important to this global project.
So it's part of the Ruhani Jagharu program, which is a broad program of modernization to prepare Kazakhstan for the global economy and intended to raise awareness of Kazakhstan as a country.
The role of the literature in learning people's hearts and minds is important because literature is a summit of art, the pillar of culture.
When we say contemporary Kazakh culture in the global world, of course we are eager to share. Globalization is not about big influence of one center. It's about combining and mixing.
It is a good initiative, good project, and we certainly feel positive about it.
The poems have got a theme of the essence of being a human being. There's a lot of talk about love and friendship and family, and the prose talks about the history itself.
The stories are about life. I think, in short, they're about life. They're about modern Kazakhstan coming to terms with its recent past and also trying to give justice to its history and to its very rich heritage.
People reading all these different poems, they will understand how close Kazakhs are to the world and at the same time how unique they are.
Every piece of work included in the anthologies was written since independence. So everything is post-1991.
Under the Rukhani Jangaru programme, it is our obligation that we must restore acclaimed and valuable works of our past and transfer them to the current generation. So I'd say that the task of this project is very complex.
We quite often used to ask ourselves the question, when will Kazakh literature be present in the wider world? I never used to think it would happen during our lifetime.
Some of the stories are quite surprising. They take surprising turns. They take you on different routes. There's one story that's one of my favorites. That's a thriller, and it's just amazing the emotional journey that it takes you on. There is a lot of skill. There is a lot of craft in those short stories, and I strongly feel that the world deserves to know them.
Through the Rukhani Jangaru program, the first president has an ambitious vision. I think it's quite astonishing that a country that focuses in technology and innovation, and it's a pioneer in Central Asia, not just in the region, they haven't forgotten how important it is to invest in culture and history and art.
This is a state-supported program, and this is a program which enjoys an overwhelming support of the public of Kazakhstan. Talking about literature, culture, history is making the world a much better place to live.
Nations of the world value each other by spiritual wealth. The wealthier the spirit of the nation, the more that country is honored. Therefore, the fact that Kazakh literature is being translated into other languages, and moreover that the government is funding this project, is such a big event and a breakthrough.
Partnering with such a distinguished institution as Cambridge University Press brings a new quality in our relationship with the United Kingdom.
Cambridge University Press was founded almost 500 years ago. We are part of the University of Cambridge, and we're committed to the same principles and values that the rest of the university is. On this project, we've been working with the National Bureau of Translations, but we've been working with a number of institutions across Kazakhstan over the years. I think it's about trust as much as anything. When you are wanting to put the best of your literature, your poetry and your prose out to the world, you want that to be done in a way which really reflects your quality and your culture.
Literature has always been at the heart of what we've done. We have published Chaucer, Shakespeare, Milton. In the 20th century, we've published writers like Ernest Hemingway, F. Scott Fitzgerald. And so we are very devoted to the humanities end of the spectrum of disciplines.
At Cambridge, we have this view that everything is about partnership. It's not just off the shelf, okay, we have a solution for that and this is what we always do. If you look at the partners that they've chosen worldwide, then you can see that their first criteria has all been about quality.
This project is important because it's a way of bringing Kazakh culture and history to a wider audience.
Our culture, nomadic culture, descends from oral literature. Our ancestors created and preserved pieces of literature without any paper, via oral narration only.
One thing about nomadic societies is that you have to be incredibly efficient in what you carry, because everything, if you got it, has to be packed and transported, and it's extra weight. Words weigh nothing.
The overwhelming characteristic of Kazakh culture seems to be hospitality. So a guest can show up at your door completely unannounced and be treated as though they had been expected with great anticipation. You have to be quite conscious of imposing on your host because no one will tell you, okay, mate, it's time to go.
Why did our ancestors choose a nomadic lifestyle? Because our worth was never measured by material things. Our philosophy was about being true to our human selves. Our ancestors understood that human beings live in this world for a short period of time.
First of all, our steppe is vast. It's vast and generous, and the people are the same.
There's a very strong voice that comes out. There's lots of appeals to tradition, to great figures of the past, to epic landscapes, to eagles and musical instruments and steppe and fields and the sun. You know, it's very sort of stirring and passionate. But there's diversity in it as well. It goes from sort of epic historical poems right down to very tender love poetry.
My aim is to glorify the human soul, because a human being can not only change his or her own destiny, but the destiny of the entire universe. For example, in the poem A Teardrop, I say that a teardrop of a baby can change the world, and that when a teardrop reaches the ground, the earth may explode.
I'm so surprised that many people ask, oh, where is Kazakhstan? So please open the map, look at Russia, look at China, and then find Kazakhstan. A huge lump of land between these countries. Please, find it, love it.
The way we worked on the project, and this is our way working in partnership with National Bureau of Translations, we sent a team, not just in Nur-Sultan, the capital, but they visited Almaty too. They had the opportunity to meet the authors, to taste the food of Kazakhstan, to listen to the music, to see the people.
NBT brought together people from each of the 6 teams, and the agenda was experience the culture. One of the things that was really good on that trip was there were performances of the poetry by the poets in Kazakh. What you are instantly struck by when you hear a Kazakh poet recite their poetry is the music of their language, which is really powerful.
Кентавр, тұлпарға мінген ұлы даланың тарпан мінезді ұлы боламын, жауларым семсер сілтеген сәтте.
They're very sort of rolling and pounding and musical. You can hear the lilt in the rhythms of the poetry.
Терендек беткен әжімің деме, бүгінге қарап қажыдым неге.
Any type of art is a form, a way of revealing a human being's soul, inner thoughts and feelings.
Алапам тасып, ақырып дөніп, әруағымды шақырып келіп, шығысқа қарай адырна тарттым, жар болса тәңірі, ақырын беріп.
The horse is, and that's a really important relationship to understand, they were the first people to domesticate the horse.
Our great ancestors tamed the horse first.
In times gone by, the horse has been critical to their survival. Because if you haven't got a horse, how are you going to ride and hunt, and how are you going to keep moving as a nomadic culture?
Horses represent the freedom of our spirit.
Today we started the actual job of translation. We talked to the translators about our works, answered their questions, and now we will wait and see what the final output will be.
It's really important that we have native English translators. And that means you can not merely produce the literal rendering of the text, but also bring some literary flair to it. And these are very vibrant themes that you get in 20th century Kazakh literature. All these themes need to be rendered in a way that justifies them in English.
The best translation is one which translates the air between the lines, its spirit.
What you also want to do is you want to try to preserve what is unique and special about the Kazakh culture and the way that the Kazakh culture is expressed in these materials. So the anthologies include a number of footnotes around kind of linguistic elements and cultural elements.
Literal translation. The other thing we were very happy with in today's meeting was that it has created a unique opportunity for authors to discuss their works in detail with their translators and editors.
The translator should also be an artist.
The translation is a very serious matter. It is the same creative job as of the writer.
Complicated stories require some time to translate properly. This is really hard work.
After speaking with the author, he explains, for example, that this word can have this meaning, but it has other meanings. And of course, it is important to give a hint to Spanish reader that other shadows of meaning of this word.
I wanted to thank the Kazakhs for giving us the chance to get to know their culture, but as well the numerous people in France who worked on this project. We are a team of 20 who worked hard for 3 to 4 months.
There are a lot of subtleties in any language, and Kazakh is not an exception. Any language contains mystery, which creates the poetry. Without these mysteries, neither poems nor stories are possible. The subtler we reveal this, the closer we'll be to the original, and so the better the translation will be. And then the original will blossom in Russian, and the other languages in which we are making this project work.
Prose, chapter 22.
August nights. Walk away, but remember there are no blacker nights.
For an audiobook audience, you're looking at bringing the stories and the poems to life.
Having chased white butterflies
We
again.
worked with our voice actors to get the pronunciations of Kazakh terms and Kazakh names and Kazakh geographical names right.
My raven-coloured Jolbaros softly tinkles his iron bridle.
It's a real opportunity actually to look at these materials less as kind of academic artefacts and more as living art.
Every writer has a dream to go global. He dreams to be read not only in his country, but also abroad.
If these anthologies can attract attention, it will, I hope, help our literature to attain its deserved place in the literary world.
We have developed a dedicated website. That website, people have been able to sign up for newsletters, so they've been receiving information about the project.
Of course, these anthologies will be available in big libraries, in the universities, and they will be distributed to research centres and institutions. This is not a commercial project. This is brilliant. This is also essential in order to share the culture of Kazakh people. We need this.
We're distributing the books to libraries and higher education institutions. We are also going to make the books available online, where people will be able to go and download or listen through audio. That will be available for free.
Our time will come. Next generations of humankind will be informed of Kazakh culture and literature according to its merits.
I thought I have to learn English, then French, and write poetry in these languages, and only then my word can spread. It appears I was wrong, which makes me happy.
This is about outreach, this is about telling the world what Kazakh culture represents, and what better way of doing that than through its literature.
In my view, it's not only about producing new books, it's about building direct contacts, personal relationships between authors, translators, publishers, so that based on that collaboration we will be able to hope to have other projects.
It's been one of the most amazing projects we've ever worked on, but by goodness it's been a tough one at times as well, because they have an understanding that this is a public project. They have a responsibility to make it the best it can be.
As Columbus discovered America, this project is opening the door to a new theme, a new world.
Kazakhstan has placed itself on the map, politically, economically, and now culturally.
I would like to repeat a remark from Nazarbayev when he said a few months back that cultural roots are the platform for our past, our present, and the future.